Hey everyone, welcome back to Love Life Support.
How's it going?
How is everyone doing today? How is you doing today?
I know I'm sick.
We've been sick for like 30,000 years, so
I don't get it.
yeah,
I don't
that's
get
kind of
it.
where we're at right now. But
3,000.
that's why we've been gone, because we literally couldn't talk, and now we can finally talk, and we're already feeling like sick again. So that's our lives right now, but we are back,
We're
and we are
back.
back
Yeah.
with a great theme.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Patty, what's the theme?
The theme is it isn't always about you.
Ooh, sometimes people need to hear that one.
So, you know, somebody in the story,
Hmm.
they think that the whole world revolves around them, and
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't.
They need to pull their head out of their ass and look at the world.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready?
I'm totally ready. Let's do this.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, let's start with the first story. Am I the asshole for calling a girl ugly in front of all my friends? I, 23 female, am a lesbian. I've known most of the people in my main friend group since school days. We're 11 people, 8 of us went to middle and high school together. I came out to them in March of 2023. Coincidentally, our group got a new member around the same time, Mary, 24 female. I came out shortly after she got added to all the group chats, and she made a joke about how she awoke something in me. I laughed it off and thought that was it. Well, it wasn't. She would repeatedly make these jokes about how she was my gay awakening because apparently it was a really weird coincidence that I came out right after she joined my friend group. After a while, it stopped being funny and I took her aside. By that point, it had been going on for 5 months and told her that these comments make me uncomfortable and asked her to stop. She brushed me off. The comments didn't get any less, and she started making them in front of people outside the friend group too. It became really annoying, and whenever she said these things, I made a point of correcting her, but she always kind of laughed about it. I tried joking back that she wasn't my type, but I think my constant insisting that she was lying made it seem like she was right, if that makes sense. It was frustrating. 2 days ago was my final straw. We went to a party and Mary knew a girl there, Jeannie, 24 female, and waved the rest of us over to introduce us. Turns out Jeannie was also gay, which Mary made a point of telling me directly. Before I could say anything, she turned back to Jeannie and pointed at me and went, "She's gay too, you know. But don't get your hopes too high. She kind of has a crush on me." I was really annoyed and said, that's not true. Stop telling people that. To which she said, "You don't need to be embarrassed. I'm pretty hot," in a joking tone. I snapped at her. "That's a weird way to say effing ugly." And she went quiet and excused herself. Yesterday, I got a long message about how hurt and disappointed she was. Most of our mutual friends are on my side, except for two who weren't there and refused to take sides. Fair enough. But a lot of other people who witnessed it have been blowing up my phone over how mean what I said was. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. Am I the asshole? So I don't think this is an asshole story. I think this is what happens when you keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. You know, you're gonna get hurt. This is what happens.
Yeah.
When you keep kicking a dog, the dog's gonna bite your foot. Like this is the most normal thing.
Yeah, when I think about this story, I kind of think about how, you know, people make gay jokes to you and you get annoyed.
Yeah, but I'm not though. She is. So she, there's some truth to it, which gives them more power.
I think that it's like that. It's kind of similar where it's like, oh, this was just a coincidence. Now let's make a joke. And it's like, okay, haha, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then you just keep going and
Yeah.
going and going and going. And it's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
shut the fuck
It's just
up.
annoying. Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of a good response. But obviously, that's pretty, like, embarrassing to say, I guess, in front of people. Depending on who it was said in front of, I guess it
Hmm.
was, like, in front of people. Like, it wasn't just in front of their, like, group. It was, like, in
Yeah.
front of
Party.
other people or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, that's kind of embarrassing. Especially if, like, for some reason she didn't know that you didn't like the joke. Like, you just thought Like, because there are, like, inside jokes that people will say, like, a million times.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, it's funny because it's an inside joke.
Yeah.
And then for this is an inside joke, technically, but you don't like it. So if this was, like, the first time she knew that you didn't fucking like it, then, like, that would be kind of rude. But
Yeah, exactly.
if you, like, pretty much made it clear that, like, this is, or, like, I don't know, some people just can't tell body language.
Yeah. You said it right. And it's not just body language. She's told her verbally.
Yeah. So if she knows that you don't like it, then, I mean, she should have expected you to blow up at her at some point.
Guess what? She's not going to fuck with you anymore.
Yeah.
So I say not the asshole.
Well, the overall vote was not the asshole. And someone said, not the asshole. Next time she does it, tell her that that's a really weird way to try and flirt with you. Sounds very much like she's interested in you.
Absolutely. What's all the deleted comments? There's like 5 after another.
I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I get that too. That makes sense.
Someone said, not the asshole. Most commenters seem to think she has a crush on you. However, my read is a little different. I think she's jealous. My guess is you're more attractive than she is, so claiming you have a crush on her, she simultaneously is telling available women that you're emotionally unavailable and that she's a catch. This woman doesn't sound like a real friend.
Not at all.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I missed it, but, like, is this girl gay or no? She's not gay?
This is not stated.
So,
She probably is. Probably obsessed with OP and yeah.
it is a weird thing. I feel like if you were straight, you would, like, not.
Yeah.
You would make the joke, like a lot of guys do, like, make like I feel like a lot of guys would be, like, saying this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's, like, after a while. But then sometimes they love to keep going. Like, we've experienced many guys in the workplace be so, like, act like they're into each other, but they're obviously not.
It
And
goes, like,
they
too
just
far. Yeah.
keep going and going. They
Yeah.
don't mind. Like, they're perfectly fine to just keep acting like, keep doing that. Like, keep making jokes. You don't need to be embarrassed. I'm pretty hot. It's kind of weird. This is a weird thing to say about yourself. Anyways, so basically the whole point of that one was that the world is not, it's not always about you. It
Bring it
wasn't
back.
about her. Why she came out was not because this girl was just entered into the group. Like, like the world does not revolve around you.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't think there's much else to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, just
Pretty simple.
fuck around and find out. That's another thing people say, right?
Yeah. Wow, John Paul, keeping up with the times.
That's a classic.
You say that people say it, so it's like,
Oh, yeah.
you sound like, oh, what the kids say these days. Am I the asshole for refusing to cook while I'm staying with my parents? I've had to go stay with my parents for the next month or so since I have to be in bed rest and my husband has no choice but to make multiple business trips during that time. We have a 2-year-old who we have enrolled in a private nursery near where my parents live. My mom hates cooking, like truly despises it, but she's also fussy about who else cooks. My teen brother isn't allowed anywhere near anything more complex than the air fryer, and if my dad tries to cook, she nitpicks everything. I'm a good home cook. I wouldn't say I love it, but I don't despise it, like Mom does either. In the 5 days I've been here, she keeps asking me to cook dinner for the family, and not easy meals either. Stuff that takes a couple hours and has lots of steps. I said no because I'm literally here to be on bed rest. I didn't travel halfway across the world just to be someone's chef. Now she's all pissy because apparently I'm doing nothing with my free time, and it's the least I could do to help. Am I the asshole?
Like, what happened here? Like, did she think you were going to be cooking all our food, or did you say, I need to stay on bed rest. I can't do anything. I can't even watch my child. So I need my food to be made for me, or I'm gonna buy it or DoorDash. I'm not making food for whole
Literally.
family. What the hell?
Like, it's not all about you, mom.
Exactly.
It's like, don't say yes to your daughter, like you taking care of your daughter because she's on bed rest, and then not take care of her. And if you don't like cooking, then just make a bunch of stuff that's easy to cook and meal prep.
Yep. One day.
And then you don't have to cook for that like long. Like I honestly don't understand like cooking every single day
No,
like
it's
anymore.
brutal.
Like I definitely obviously grew up like every time you ate you had to cook that meal. But it's like it's so much work and so much time taken out of your day. Like who even has time for that? Like even if you are home all the time, how do you have time for that? Like
Right. What if you come home
because
from
you're
work late? No,
cleaning
you don't want to cook.
and you're cleaning everything again. Like you're cleaning all those pans and pots and like all the other things you use to like cook with
Plates, no, let alone
again
plates,
and again and again. Especially if you don't care about eating like similar things or basically the same thing every single day. Like
every
honestly,
week, you know.
the people who say that they can't eat the same thing every day, I honestly don't understand because I'm honestly perfectly fine with it as long as it's something good.
And also, it can change weekly.
Like, there have been times, I will say, that I've chosen a recipe and it didn't turn out as good as I had thought it was going to taste. And
Which one? Which time?
I don't know, just like, oh, YouTube recipe or this recipe. And then it's like, a lot of times things turn out good. But it's just like maybe like one, like a few times, like twice or something, like in the entire time that we've been like meal prepping, that, or I've been meal prepping, that it wasn't as good. So it's like, okay, I gotta eat this again. Or like there's some things where it's like, okay, I don't like eating this every single day.
Which? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite meal prep?
I don't know. Or like when I've made like pasta salad, I would get sick of it.
Sometimes.
Like
yeah.
I love pasta salad.
Yeah.
But then it's like
Fresh.
day 4 and you're just like,
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
I don't know
The
if I
one
can
you
do
made
this.
was really good. The one with chicken in it. That one was good.
But even then, it's like, I don't know, like teriyaki chicken,
Yeah.
chili, like
Yeah. It's classics.
barbecue chicken with like
Potato,
potatoes.
yeah.
Like, those were always like the classics. We made those
Tuna
like so many
fish
times.
with
And I could still
potatoes.
make them. And
Yeah.
like, literally, I'm going to make chili.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to make it today.
Yeah. I'm excited.
So it's like,
It's gonna be healthy for us.
I could eat chili every single day as long, like when it gets like warm out. I don't know what we're going to do. But anyways, this
Cold,
is
yeah.
all to say that I don't mind eating something that's the same every single day.
Yeah.
And I don't understand people who can. But anyways, if you don't like cooking, then then you should meal prep. You should meal prep something that you really like.
If you don't
And
like cooking,
that's
just,
basically all I was trying to say.
you can also buy like things at the store. It's like pretty easy meals. You know, you just warm them up.
Yeah, but they're never as good. Once you start cooking a lot more for yourself and you don't eat out as much, when you eat things like, especially like the pre-made stuff at like grocery stores or you eat out, sometimes it's like, this is not that good.
No, you can tell. It's
Like I'd rather
reheated.
just be
Yeah,
eating
fresh.
my like food at home. And I'm not even that good of a cook.
You're a good cook. Definitely, you're a good cook. Oh, yeah. But let's back to the story. I think not the asshole. Poor woman, right? She can't even take care of her child, so you put the child in nursery. Why does the mom expect her to make food? I guarantee you, the woman arranged it, and the mom is just going back onto her arrangement.
Well, it sounds like my family.
Yeah, it's like, well, I gave you so much, and it's like, well, you don't. you give backhanded. You expect in return. It's not giving.
It's like, I'm on bed rest, so take care of me. Otherwise, I should have just stayed home.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like I don't
if
want.
I was gonna cook for myself, then I should have just stayed home. Like, also, like, to be put on bed rest, like That's kind of like, that's just crazy.
Right.
And also, if I was put on bed rest, I'd be like, I have to be on bed rest. They told me I have to. Like, I'm not gonna not do it.
Yeah.
Because if I don't do it, what's gonna happen? I'd be like so scared. So I'd be like, nope, I'm not doing anything.
That's, yep, exactly.
Obviously, everybody said not the asshole. And someone said, not the asshole. You're on bed rest. Might have not been the best choice to go stay with them then.
Yeah.
OP replied, yeah, maybe. They're great in most other ways, and they've asked me to go stay. My choice was that or hire a nanny/home help without having time to properly get to know them.
Yeah, still though, you might want to do that.
Someone said, it's a lot easier to correct or fire a nanny than your mom.
Yeah.
Something to keep in mind. Tell your mom to order in and you'll pay for it. Obi replied, that's fair, but if there was a stranger in the house while I'm on bed rest, I would just be wandering after them to make sure everything was in order. It would have been different if I already had a housekeeper that I knew and trusted. Yeah, I don't know, because sometimes those people can be weird. I think that obviously you're not the asshole, and your mom does not realize that right now the world revolves around you, not her. So, also, if she doesn't like cooking, and then she like nitpicks everybody else if they cook, like the brother or the father, it's like, what? Like, what do you want? Also, I don't understand hating cooking. Like, I get being tired of it because I am like kind of tired of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't understand hating it. And then also, why are you picking recipes that take hours to make? Like, oh my gosh. Like, you're just sending, like, you just sound like you want everything, but you don't want to do anything. All right, let's go to the next one. Am I the asshole for refusing to go to my sister's wedding, knowing that it means most of our family won't attend? I, 40 female, am significantly older than my sister, 25 female. As such, after she was born, I was repeatedly looked over and parentified by my parents in favor of her. Examples of this include giving my old clothes and toys to her without my permission, rather than preserving them as a keepsake of my childhood. In short, my inner child has had to do a lot of healing over the years. I am low contact with my parents and sister, but apparently she is engaged and wants me to be part of the wedding party. Now, I am not comfortable around children of any age. It is part of my trauma. Being around them for me comes with a sense of responsibility that reminds me of the neglect I suffered at the hands of my family. My sister knows this, so I assumed with her asking me to be in the wedding that the wedding would be child-free. During a discussion, she mentioned her fiance's best friend's daughter would be serving as flower girl, and our cousin's son would be the ring bearer. I reminded her that I would not be comfortable around children, and expressed my disappointment that she would invite me to be in a wedding that is not child-free. She looked sad for a second and told me that there were many young children and families that are close to her and her fiance, and the day would feel incomplete without them. And if I really weren't comfortable around children to that extent, she would understand if I am unable to attend. I was shocked that she would uninvite me in the favor of random kids, and it reminded me of being thrown aside in favor of her when we were young. So I left to collect myself. I attempted to ask my parents to talk some sense into her, but surprise, surprise, they took her side. At this point, I was deeply hurt and needed an outlet. So I did something that might make me the asshole. I am friends with some other family members on Facebook, and I made a post about how my sister was kicking me out of the wedding and that my parents were taking her side, all because of the trauma that they contributed to themselves. I didn't go into detail because I didn't think it was anyone else's business. I just wanted to vent. Now people are apparently refusing to go to my sister's wedding unless I am reinstated as part of the wedding. She and my parents are begging me to come, but still refusing to budge on the children being there, so it doesn't make much of a difference to me. I do feel bad because I didn't know that our family would refuse to come, but I cannot go to an event that has that many children running around or retract my statement because I don't want the family to think I lied. Am I the asshole for refusing to go? Edit. For those of you suggesting therapy, I am in therapy. My therapist is incredible and helped me realize how heavily my past has affected me. I have yet to discuss the Facebook post with her, but we'll see what she has to say.
What did she post on Facebook? What did she say? Like, how did she get everybody on her side?
Basically said that all she said was they like kicked her out of the wedding because of her past trauma. Basically, like she like kept it very vague because she doesn't think it's anyone else's business, even though she's making it everyone else's business.
Okay, so at the beginning of this, I'm listening, and she's like, childhood trauma. I'm like, honey, tell me all your childhood trauma. Honey, tell me. And by the end of it, I'm like, okay, you want the whole world to get rid of all children because you're uncomfy? That's ridiculous.
Not everything is about you.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm starting to not believe that there was any parentification. I'm starting to doubt any of her childhood trauma anyway, at this point.
Well, that's basically the point, because she starts it off with, examples of this include giving my old clothes and toys to her without my permission, rather than preserving them as a keepsake of my childhood. But by the time her sister was born, she was 15 years old.
Yeah.
So her parents, you know, the one buying the things, probably thought, well, we have these toys, so, you know, we have another child.
They kept them until you were 15. That's kind of epic parents. You probably don't love your sister at all.
Okay, so the thing is, she was 15 years old, so obviously all those things were her own. Like, she didn't expect that she was probably going to have another sibling because she was already 15 without another sibling. Yeah. But, like, when it comes to, like, if it was, like, this was your favorite stuffed animal, it's, like, already, like, torn apart, you know? And it's, like, this was the thing that you would never go without. And it's, like, that should be preserved as your own. But, like, these random, like, blocks that you, like, used when you were a child, it's like, okay, who cares? Your sister can use it. Or, like, I don't know, like, random toys shouldn't matter. But when it comes to, like, specific toys that were, like, used a lot, like, there's probably going to be a few that, like, it is yours, and this is, like, almost a part of you. Sure. And, like, if it was something, like, to that level where it was, like, you use this all the time.
Yeah.
It was your, like, pride and joy. Even at 15, you were, like, you know, keeping it in your room, keeping it in your closet. And then they were like, oh, here you go. And then the sister, like, destroyed it or something. Like, of course that's going to give you some resentment. And also, you went from an only child to having a sister at 15, which is teenager age, which means you're already, like, hating your parents anyway. So it's like, but you also need to realize that, like, your sister didn't fucking do anything to you. It was your parents treating her above you, which when she's, like, 2 years old, she's probably going to come before you in a few different ways because, you know, they don't want her to, like, fucking die or something.
I don't get it. Like, I don't get this whole, they neglected me. Bitch, you're 15. You probably don't want to spend any time with your parents anyway. They don't neglect you. The 2-year-old daughter needs to be looked after.
She went from being the only thing they care about to being not the only thing they care about. And I'm sure that they did certain things that they should not have done. Like, because, of course, like, every parent does. Yeah. And we don't know your whole life. We don't know what they did. We don't know if that's true, that they took your most prized possession and they gave it to your sister without asking. And you're heartbroken, which makes sense. Yeah. But, like, at the same time, if your only example is the toys and the clothes, which I feel like clothes, like childhood clothes, who cares? But most people donate them. Anyways, maybe except for the ones that you came in the home to the hospital from the hospital with, whatever. Certain things, yes, of course they're gonna have importance, but other things, it's like, okay, like, who cares? Most people donate those things. What? Most people donate like their kids' toys after a very after not that long. Like sometimes, I was literally thinking about this. How people will donate their kids' toys but fully expecting that they're gonna have another child like in a few years. It's
You're
like,
gonna
why
buy
are
new
you
ones, yeah.
donating them? Just keep them.
I know.
But anyways,
Yeah. OP is just like thinks the world revolves around her right now. It's crazy.
I just don't like. I feel like if there's more like extreme examples, like I feel like you would provide the most extreme examples of why your parents like didn't treat you right and you have this trauma. I feel like you would provide some of the more extreme ones
No.
rather than the least extreme. So knowing that those were your two examples,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, where are we? You know?
I think we need to have some priority. Also, it's basically ever since you were getting married, the bride gets to say what happens on her day, and no one gets to tell her. Like, that's pretty. It's basically common knowledge. So I don't know why she thinks that she's gonna take all the children out of the wedding.
Also,
Or-
why are you
yeah.
so scared of the children? Like, okay,
Yeah.
like I didn't want any kids at my wedding or at my reception.
Yeah.
I didn't want kids at my wedding, but
Yeah.
I didn't want them at the reception.
Yeah.
Unless you were in the wedding party.
Mhm.
And so I'm like the exact opposite of the bride, where the bride is saying, "Oh, it would feel incomplete without them," which is what other people were saying to me when I said I
Yeah.
didn't want them.
Yeah.
But
you were the bride.
so, but you don't tell the bride what to do, like, and also how you're like, oh, you invite me to a wedding and there's children, like, how dare you? And I don't know. Like,
It's not your special day.
you have trauma, you have problems, your therapist needs to help you out and help you figure all that out.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're being honest to your therapist about what has happened to you.
Yeah.
But,
Well, she's already not telling the therapist about the giant Facebook post she made.
yeah. Basically, I can understand where your trauma is coming from. I can understand that your little sister became the only thing that your parents cared about. They neglected you in some sort of way, like emotionally. And I'm sure they did, because that's very common. But like to hate like all children or you can't even be around them is like so weird, and like you have
Yeah.
this sense of responsibility
Yeah.
when you're around kids. It's like it's just you need to work through that. Like you
Yeah.
can't like live your whole fucking life not fixing that problem. And
It's a big
also
problem, yeah.
this wedding is how far in advance, or like, you know, like how far away. Talk to your therapist about how
Yeah.
you feel uncomfortable being around kids because it makes you feel the sense of responsibility, and then make that the priority in your therapy sessions and start working on it, because you can't live
Yeah.
your whole fucking life
Yeah,
being
and
scared
fear.
of children.
It's ridiculous.
Like, I understand that. Like, I'll be like, I don't want to hold a baby because if the baby's crying, then everyone's going to think that the baby's crying because of me and all this stuff. This is literally why I didn't really hold children and didn't really interact with kids that much, because I didn't want them to, like, freak out and then everyone's like, what did you do? Kind of thing.
Exactly.
So I understand that. But, like, at 40 years old,
Yeah.
if there's a bunch of kids around me and there's a bunch of adults around me, I'm definitely not expecting that everyone thinks that I'm the one responsible here.
No.
Like, I'm the one who's 40
No.
years old, don't have any kids, and obviously don't like kids. I don't think anyone's expecting
Yeah.
me to be watching their children.
In the famous words of my sister, I'm not the one who got pregnant. So you don't need to worry about the kids. Just enjoy the wedding of your sister. Don't worry about the children.
Yeah.
Don't
And
look
also,
at
you're
them.
in the wedding party. Like,
Yeah.
you're gonna, if you decide to go, you would be in the wedding party, so you're not gonna be expected to be watching people's kids. And
Yeah, exactly.
I understand being uncomfortable, but you should do it for your fucking sister, even though
Yeah.
you don't like her.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody's gonna be on her side. Not just your parents are on her side. Everyone's gonna be on her side if they know the whole fucking story,
Yep.
because, like, it's her wedding.
Yep.
And then it's like, oh, like, I don't know. The way they wrote things is just, you sound so entitled.
Yep.
Someone said, you're the asshole. You are 40 years old. You need a better therapist because it appears yours has not helped you at all.
Yeah.
You have had decades to come to terms with your childhood. Also, you're traumatized by hand-me-downs, really? The entitlement you're displaying by being upset that your sister invited you to her wedding that wasn't child-free is absolutely astounding. I truly don't know how you get through the day.
Yeah, we were just saying that.
You're the asshole. Plenty of older siblings' things are handed down to younger ones. This is the only detail you provided, and it hardly seems that traumatic. Yeah. Again, she was 15 when it happened. 16, 17, 18, things are getting handed down that she never thought that she would have to share. So it's a little bit different because she didn't learn that she had to share because she was basically an only child growing up. So it's a little bit different than typical. But if that is her most extreme example, it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's her most extreme example because she's saying that she feels a sense of responsibility when she's around children.
Yeah, it was not
which
explained.
would be like because she probably had to take care of her sister when she didn't want to, whatever. And she was like expected to be like looking out for her when she wasn't used to it. Like, I don't think people understand that like I'm the youngest child, so I wasn't around children that much. So I don't know everything that I should be doing to take care of a child. So if someone expects me to know every single bloody thing to, be taking care of a child, it's just not going to happen.
Well, it sounds like in 25 years she hasn't aged at all. She still sounds like a 15-year-old who's complaining that she has his little sister who's playing with her toys, who has to take care
Obviously
of her.
now she needs to like work through it, but like I can understand how she could have some trauma from her things being like not her things anymore when they had always been her things. I can understand how she can have some trauma when it's like, oh my gosh, why aren't you watching her? She's doing this and this and this. And it's like, I didn't know I had to watch her. Like, I'm literally 17. I've never had to deal with a child before. Like, and you expect me to know everything? Like, I can definitely understand how certain things could be traumatic. But she needs to work through it. And she also needs to not blame her sister because her sister being born was not her fault.
Yeah. Honestly, like, the whole, like, a new baby is born, so the older sibling has to, like, deal with not being always the center of attention, deal with giving some hand-me-downs, clothes, and toys. That's like a 4-year-old goes through that and matures from that.
Like they're used
you
to
acting
sharing.
like a 4-year-old, not a 40-year-old.
No, but they're used to sharing by the age of however.
Usually there's a gap of 2 years.
So
three,
they don't know life of not like expecting that their things are gonna go to their siblings and not expecting like they're just sharing like, and also their younger sibling is sharing things with them because they're similar in age, whereas a 1-year-old sharing with a 15-year-old is just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it is a lot different. That's why age gaps are kind of important and people need to think about it a little bit more.
Timing,
But obviously she's the asshole. The way that she talks is just so dumb. She's like cut her family off.
Yeah.
It's like, dude.
If I was her sibling, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Obviously there's got to be more because I don't understand. But either way, the way she talks is just so rude.
I hope this post gets attached to the Facebook post. That'd be nice. Like in one big picture comment.
Oh, yeah. That'd be true. That'd be good. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for telling my wife that I completely understand why she was ejected from her Stitch and Bitch group?
It's called Stitch and Bitch. I get it now. No more notes. I understand.
My 34 male wife, 29 female, is a stay-at-home wife. We recently moved to the area for my job, for which I am grateful to her. She uprooted her life to come here. In order to make new friends, my wife decided to join a Stitch and Bitch group. We now live in a big city, so it was fairly easy to find one. The issue, though, is that my wife is a terrible conversationalist. She will drone on and on about the most horribly boring things, such as workplace drama with people you've never met, will tell the same stories again and again, and will interrupt you to change the subject into something that she wants to talk about. When you try to get a word in, she'll hold her hand up in the stop gesture and just repeat, "Let me finish." She never finishes though. She just rambles on and on. Watching her at parties is incredibly uncomfortable because she'll just waltz into conversations, take over them completely, and I'll have to make an excuse to pull her away for a minute so that other people can enjoy each other's company. 3 weeks ago, she joined her weekly Stitch and Bitch for the first time. She came home incredibly excited about how much fun it was, and I was sincerely happy for her. The next week, she joined the same group again and came home in a similar mood. However, 2 nights after that, she received a text from one of the members saying that they agreed she didn't really mesh well with the group and that she would probably enjoy another group more. My wife has droned on and on about this every night for the last week. She'll always make the same exact points, phrased the same exact way, such as, "And I'm sorry for wanting to talk about my things," or that the group was dead before I joined it. I finally had my fill last week and just straight up told her. I told her we've talked about this at length. I told her that I completely get why they dumped her because listening to her talk nonstop about the most dull topics is frankly exhausting. She kept trying to interrupt me, but when I wouldn't let her, she stormed out and literally shrieked at the top of her lungs in another room. Naturally, she's incredibly angry at me. I just wonder if this was necessary or if I went too far. It isn't always about you.
Who?
OP. I mean, not OP, the wife.
Yeah, she does sound kind of unbearable.
Dude. Going on and on about the same things, phrased the exact same way. It's like, oh my gosh.
I was listening. I was like, is this me? I'm not really great at telling stories.
Well, saying the same stories over and over again is not something that you do. Not to, like, anyone else. And not to me. It's just I have to hear it again when you tell it to people. But I know certain people that will go on and on about the most boring things. And
Wait.
both boring stories.
Are we thinking we're the
and
same
it's just,
person?
like,
Are we thinking the same
not-
person?
I don't know.
I think we are.
Who? Okay. Also, I kind of love that Stitch and Bitch.
It's too fun.
I'm like, I need to find something like
I
that.
bet that's so toxic, though.
Yeah. But then it's
oh my
like,
gosh.
I could just hear all the drama but not, like, give any.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
Anyways.
I feel like they would just, like, start rumors and stuff and then, like, ruin people's lives, you know?
Like, it's kind of mean to, like, kick her out of the group.
Did they kick her out? Or they said we feel like you would like a different group.
Well, they said it in a nice way, but,
Oh.
like, obviously you're kicked out.
They said it in a
She
nice
just
way.
showed up again. They would be like,
You're
what?
fine.
Yeah.
They did kick her out in a nice way, though.
They did kick her out in a nice way.
Somebody's unbearable. That's it.
But the thing is, you're her husband, so it's like, why didn't, like, what? Like, why didn't you talk about this sooner or something?
No, did this get, like, when did this happen? Has she always been a bad conversationalist? Like you said, a horrible
And
conversationalist.
then, like, how is your conversations? And then you're also getting bored of her, so it's like, what?
I'm like, is she,
This
like,
is kinda
really
weird.
sexy or something? Or, like, what's going on? Because she sounds lame.
But she's a stay-at-home wife in a big city, so maybe, I don't know. And, like, she literally shrieked at the top of her lungs in another room. That's kind of hilarious.
Bro.
Sounds like she needs, like, some therapy or something. Like, I think she's got some anger issues. Also, to be like, stop. I wasn't finished talking.
Let me finish.
I think that would be the reason why she was kicked out more so than anything.
Yeah.
Because if you say boring stories, you kind of repeat yourself a little bit, I don't think anyone's going to kick you out because of that. But, like, you're just, like, being, like, rude. Like, that's just being rude.
Yeah.
Like, she's rude. She's not, like, fun to be around. It's not because she's boring. It's because she's being rude.
This is, like, the most first world problem story I've ever heard.
But the world does not revolve around
No,
her.
it doesn't.
Let me finish. Like, shut up, girl. Anyways, someone said, not the asshole. Too many people are comfortable interrupting and talking over people. It sounds like her favorite noise is her own voice. I don't know how to fix it. I work very hard to improve my give and take in convos. You need to be told and willing to improve, or you'll keep wondering why you get excluded socially. I'd bet she doesn't have conversations. She just waits for her turn to speak. Or worse, makes it her turn to speak. You need to point this out to her and tell her that this can be her rock bottom and she can work to improve herself, or she can keep embarrassing herself. It's her choice.
Wow. Maybe people on Reddit like don't know how things are gonna go over. Oh, just say this to her. Just say this. It'll be fine. All right. The world does not revolve around this lady. So.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll look back at conversations and I'll be like, wait, I didn't ask them the same question they asked me. I just answered it. And I'm like, why did I do that? I'm so dumb.
It's like an interview. Like, you don't need to, like, it's not a skill. You need to know.
Like, I'll be like, but I'll be like wondering.
Yeah,
and then I won't
true.
say it.
True.
And then it's like, why didn't I say it?
Yeah.
Someone said, not the asshole. Sometimes people need to hear the truth. There's a woman in my groups, I go to 3, who tells the same story multiple times in each group. So I've heard the stories 7 or 8 times. Last time, a woman next to me muttered, again, when a story came out. I wanted to say, yeah, you only heard it 3 times. We just have side conversations. Fortunately, we're able to. Yeah, that is true. Someone said not the asshole, but it sounds like the very problem that landed her in this situation. She's not a big fan of listening to others. Will also prevent her from working on herself, so it won't happen again. I feel like therapy may be the answer. Someone who is paid to listen to her and then give her feedback on how to improve. Yeah. I mean, that's what I said. It sounds like she needs therapy.
Yeah.
But is he the asshole for saying that he understands why she was kicked out?
I mean, kind of, but you also chose this woman, so you need to stick by her.
So he is the asshole?
Kind of.
I'd say he's not the asshole.
I don't know. I feel like there's a certain amount of bashing of your wife that's okay, and
But he
certain amount that's not okay.
sat there for a week hearing the same thing over and over again, and then he's like, "This is literally why." Yeah.
Do you love the sound of her voice, or like, what's different about you than these women? You know. Anyway.
I think that I would have done the same thing. I would have said to you, I understand why you were kicked out. If it was that. If, obviously, if it was the same situation.
Yeah.
I think I would do the same thing.
Yeah, well.
But I probably would have said it, like, straight up. I probably wouldn't even have waited a week.
You wouldn't have waited, yeah.
But yeah, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for refusing to give up my bed? I live with my girlfriend, and on the weekend, her best friend is coming to stay at ours for 2 nights. Her best friend lives quite far away now, so they don't see each other too often. My girlfriend mentioned that when they were younger, they used to have sleepovers and would spend the night watching TV in her room and ended up sharing a bed. She asked if I would mind having the sofa for the weekend so her and her friend could have the bed. I refused and said I'm not going to be kicked out of my own bed. I said that they can still sit in the room and watch TV, etc., but then her friend can have the sofa. My girlfriend said I was being unfair since it is only 2 nights. I just repeated that I'm not going to get kicked out of my own bed. My girlfriend accused me of being unreasonable since it was only going to be 2 nights. Edit. Just realized I didn't include the gender of the friend. They're both straight women. Am I the asshole for refusing to be kicked out of my own bed?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think?
I don't know. I can never tell.
I'm
supposed to give an answer that like you're supposed
you
to like John Paul. It's obvious. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Okay, I still don't know. Maybe it's the same.
I think when I first read this, I was like, just give it up, bro. For 2 weeks, two nights. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But a lot of people made good points.
Let me see.
Someone said, if you don't have a pull-out couch, then they can get an air mattress and have their slumber party in the living room.
Yeah.
Someone said, not the asshole. I wouldn't feel comfy kicking my bestie's significant other out of their bed.
True.
When I go visit my bestie, we rock out in the guest room. I also overpack, so I tend to spread across a room with my stuff. If they don't have a guest room, I would get a hotel. My bestie and I don't see each other often due to distance. But that doesn't mean their significant other needs to be uncomfortable in their own home.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Someone said, not the asshole. There is no valid reason you should sleep on the couch. It's your bed. That's where you should be sleeping. Her girlfriend is the one being unreasonable. Your girlfriend inviting a friend over should not have a negative impact on you.
Yeah.
She wants to share a bed, get a hotel.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, like, do I want to be sleeping on the bed that they probably fucking? Probably not.
Right?
And then also, it'd be way more fun to get air mattress, put it like near the bed, or I mean the couch, and just hang out in the living room and then just be by ourselves.
Do your thing, yeah. I get you.
So that's where I'm at. I think it's like, it's only 2 nights. So yes, you could give up your bed and let the girl sleep on the bed, like if you were like trying to be a gentleman or whatever. Because like, if I was kicked out of my bed and you wanted to hang out with a boy and sleep in the same bed, I would be like, I am not sleeping on the fucking couch. No.
Here's what I'll
It's
say.
like you could be a gentleman when it's like a girl kind of thing.
Here's what I'll say. I think that the wife and the friend should not have asked him at all to give up his bed. They shouldn't have asked.
Yeah. Definitely think that a lot of people get pretty like territorial over their beds. And I'm just so like, I don't really care that much. But like, I don't know.
But you also do care. Like if somebody like took the comfy bed and made you sleep on the couch, you'd be upset. This couch is not that great.
No, this couch sucks, so I understand.
You'll be slipping off of it.
But I actually love sleeping on couches, but I hate this couch. We need a new couch.
I know. I hate our couch.
I like have hated our couch since like day 1.
Day 2, right?
I literally
Day 2.
hated it forever. But anyways, I think that you're not the asshole for refusing to give up your bed because it's your own bed, so you can say yes or no, whatever you want.
Definitely.
But like, yeah, they should just do it in the living room and like have it sleep over there. Like, I can understand why I'd do like a slumber party vibe,
Yeah.
but just do it out here.
Yeah.
You know.
If your husband's not invited, your boyfriend's not invited.
Or
Don't
get
kick
a
him out.
hotel, like people said, if you don't want him around. But I don't think that's what they're trying to do.
No.
I think they just want to sleep in the same bed because they used to do that when they were younger. Anyways, let's go to the next one and the last one. Am I the asshole for not watching my kids so their father could visit his wife in the hospital? Me and my ex-husband divorced 4 years ago. We have 2 daughters together. My ex-husband remarried 1 year ago, and I knew that he and his wife were expecting because my daughters told me that they would get a sibling. Now this Friday, it was his week with the girls. He called me and asked if I could please take them earlier. When I asked him why, he told me that he needed to be with his wife at the hospital. I said no, that is not a reason to disobey the court order, and that he either could stay with the girls, leave the girls with a babysitter, or take them with him to the hospital. I hung up before he could continue. He texted me about 2 hours after, telling me that I was extremely sick in the head and that for once he was in a situation where he needed my help, and I refused. His best friend, who was a mutual friend of ours until the divorce, also texted me and said that he hoped I was happy with myself. I don't get how I could be an asshole, but it obviously seems like he and his best friend has come to that conclusion. If I am the asshole, yes, I will apologize, but firstly, I need to know.
Yeah, you are the asshole.
Yeah, you're the fucking asshole.
Big time.
You're such an asshole.
Big time. Like, you're just jealous.
Yeah. Also, it wasn't even on a day where she wasn't going to take them.
Yeah.
Like, he said to get them early.
Yeah, like early in the day, right?
Yeah. And it's an emergency. And it has to do with your children. And, like, when you, like, co-parent, like, you have to, like, sure, you don't want to have to give a shit about your ex-husband anymore after your divorce. But when you're co-parenting, you kind of have to give a little bit of a shit.
yeah.
What if it was him in the hospital?
Yep.
Would you go and take the daughters? Or would you just let them sit there?
Yeah.
Oh, you probably would take them. So what's the difference? He's in an emergency situation. If it was you and you were in the hospital, or you and you had to go visit your parent or somebody in the hospital, and like, what would you do? You just get a babysitter, you would just do this, you would just do that. You're an asshole.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter
It
what
really
he did
doesn't
to you
even
at
matter.
this point.
What would you do? You would hope that he would help you in an emergency situation if you needed it. What if nobody else, nobody could babysit them, and you were the one in the hospital, and you couldn't watch them while you're in the hospital? What would you do? You would probably call him up and ask for help.
Exactly.
Like what?
The guy who you're seeing every week to share custody of your children, he does play a big part in your life.
Yeah. If you choose to co-parent, then you have to co-parent. You can't be a fucking asshole.
Yeah. If you didn't want it, then maybe you shouldn't have your kids right now.
Yeah. Everyone said that OP's the asshole. Again, it's an emergency situation. Of course, you should be able to. And also, what did she say? That it wasn't a reason to disobey the court order. Like, honestly, what a piece of shit. Like, no, you can take them with you. Like, what is he gonna do? Have them in the room?
It's like his wife's in the hospital. Is she like giving birth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
Most likely. And
It's insane.
what do you even do? Like, depending on how old the kids are or whatever, I don't think she said. Like, what do you do when you have to, like, be in the hospital and then, like, you have to be in the room with her?
Yeah.
Like, can the kids just sit out, like, by themselves?
So.
Like,
I don't think so. I can't imagine. The wife didn't plan to get pregnant when it was his custody time. You know, like she didn't
Or
plan to
to
go out
give
in
birth.
labor, right? When it was, oh, now it's his custody. And
I will
that's-
say the only thing is that he could have, like, communicated to her a bit more, like, being like, this is around her due date, like, when it happens, like.
No, she doesn't care. She doesn't care about any of that.
Yeah, but because she only knew that she was pregnant when the kids said, "Oh, we're getting a sibling."
I guess, but maybe.
So like he's not
she's-
really
Maybe
co-parenting.
you
Like
can't tell her anything.
I get
they
it
have a
because
portal.
from her attitude, it seems like she's a piece of shit. But like he probably should have said, "This is her due date. When it happens, like we're gonna need your help."
It probably is like,
I would have done that.
I know.
Like I would have communicated, and I would have helped. And both like, but like he should have communicated maybe a little bit.
Yeah. It's like they're both your kids. You share responsibility, and you are also sharing each other's life a little bit. But they probably were like on a portal where it's like it's so toxic that you're not allowed to like say anything rude on there.
Maybe.
And then he's just like, oh, I don't even want to talk about my personal life and then having a child because she's gonna say, oh, good for you. Like, you know, you're gonna cheat on her too. Like, I don't know, something like that.
Even if she was cheated on, it's still her children. You
Yeah.
know?
Sometimes in life, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just sometimes people just need help, and especially if they're close to you, you guys share responsibility. Sometimes they just need help, and you're gonna be an asshole if you say no.
Yeah. Someone said, "You are not just an asshole, but outright cruel." Any reasonable person with an ounce of empathy or compassion would agree to watch someone's children so their parent could be with their spouse at the hospital, let alone agree to watch their own children. Not a reason to disobey the court order, my ass. Think like a human being for 5 seconds. You clearly have some sort of vendetta against either your ex-husband or his wife or both. You are definitely bitter about them having a baby together. And also don't seem to like your children very much.
Yeah.
As any normal, loving parent with split custody would jump at the chance to spend extra time with their kids.
That's true. I forgot
You're
to
the
mention that.
asshole.
Yeah. Imagine if my brother just got to have more time with his son. It's like he would immediately do it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the only problem would be, like, if you're at, like, work or something and you need the
Yeah,
money
of course.
and stuff
There's
like that.
obligations.
But,
But even at work is like, hey, I gotta go early because.
yeah, a lot of people would do that. Someone said, "I'm really hoping OP doesn't ever need to spend time in the hospital herself.
Yeah.
Go away for work, visit a dying relative, or even just need some time off because her ex-husband isn't going to help out. You're not necessarily obliged to step in, but it will make a far happier future for your kids if you can at least try not to be petty, try to not be a petty asshole about it. So it has to be you're the asshole.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Damn.
Yeah. Well, she's definitely the asshole. She definitely could have helped.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could have communicated,
Yeah.
but she is still the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is everything for today. My voice is already going away. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching.